Do you want a sheep farm that will automatically shear, allow you to breed, and sort out any different coloured wool you would like? This is your answer. Don't you go anywhere. It's for Minecraft 1.14. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on what time you're watching this next episode from me, Avomance, in my farm tutorial series. This farm, however, is a little different. This is for Minecraft 1.14, the Villager and Pillager update. It is an automatic sheep farm. Now, this farm automatically shears sheep. It automatically allows you to breed the sheep up so you can increase your yield. And if you wanted to put one in there, you can have it automatically sort out any different colours of wool you might have inside there. So it is an automatic shearer, sorter, cleaner, outerer, breeder type wool type thing. It is quite fancy. The bit around the outside, you don't have to do that. I'm not going to put that in the inventory. It's just red concrete with some hay and some other bits and pieces, and it's just there to make it look fancy. The stuff that's important is on the inside. I'm going to show you that right now on how to make it. So for each pod, and you can have as many pods as you want really, for each pod you are going to need 8 glass, 2 observers, 2 dispensers, 2 redstone repeaters, 4 blocks that conduct redstone. I've just got cobblestone, but you could use any redstone conducting block. 2 shears, 2 hoppers, 2 chests, at least 4 grass blocks, ideally 6 grass blocks, 3 rails, and altogether you're going to need 1, maybe 2 if you want, minecart hoppers. Then you need to be able to extend the rails, and depending on how many you have, you're going to need more rails, more powered rails, redstone blocks, hoppers, chests, levers, and some things to light up with. And it's going to depend how big you make it as to how many you need. And then you're going to need some sheep, and then you're going to need to breed some sheep with some wheat, and you might even want to dye it with whatever colour dyes you would like. Let's crack on with it. So each pod that we make is going to need this space. So you want 5 blocks long and 3 blocks across the bottom of that fat L and 2 blocks across the top of that fat L. I've made these different colours because we're going to dig a different depth for each of those colours. Let's crack on. So this rectangle here, the green rectangle, I want you to dig that out 1 deep. Where we've got this blue rectangle, this 3x1, I want you to dig that out 2 deep, and this orange one, we're not digging that out at all. That is staying exactly where it is. So this is where you need to decide how many pods are you going to do, because for each pod they need to be next to each other. So this is 3, so you imagine that would be another one, that would be another one, that would be another one, like that. So that would effectively be a line of pods next to each other. So once you've decided how many pods you do, make sure you go 3 along for each one, and then an extra 2 at each end. So I'll be back when I've done that. Now you can have this whatever size you want it. I've decided to go for a 16 pod system. You could have a 25 pod system, you could have just a single pod system. It is completely up to you. But for my 16 pod system that I've decided to go around the corners so as it becomes more of a chamber than an actual long line of wool, I need to have a channel that runs 19 up one side, 22 across the top, and 19 down the other side. That will give me 16 pods plus the extra 2 at each end to leave me to play with. I now want you to run some rails around your groove, channel, what do you want to call it? You can call it a groove or a channel. I won't hold it against you, but I want you to run some rails down it, starting with redstone rails, powered rails. I want you to go 1, 2, and on the third one I want you to get a redstone block and then put the powered rail on there. That will power all 3 of those. You'd have to use a redstone block if you're short of redstone. You could take out the block next to it, shove a lever in there and turn that on, but I don't want to do that. I want a redstone block because I can. It's just a little bit tidier. Then count 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Another redstone block and powered rail, just 1. And again, you could take it out there and put a lever on if you wanted to. That works beautifully. And then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. power rail on top of redstone block. You get the picture, and just repeat that and repeat that and repeat that all the way around your channel and down your channel until you get to the end. Now, depending on how many pods you've got, it will depend how many times you do this and how far away from the end your redstone block is. But you want, for my personal opinion, 2 redstone or 3 if you can, but 2 or 3 powered rails at each end. It just gives the minecart with hopper that you're going to slap in here a bit of a boost when it goes all the way around, so that minecart gets all the way around. Now, this fella is quite repetitive, so I'm not going to be doing every single pod. We're going to make one pod together, and then you are going to make all the rest of the pods by repeating exactly the same thing. Dead easy. But before we do that, we need to get this place grassed up. You've probably done this where there's plenty of grass. I haven't, so let's lay some grass down. So I've taken out my 3 wool blocks here, and I'm going to replace those with 3 grass blocks, and then next to those I'm going to shove in another 3 grass blocks. So you should have a 2x3 lump, little lawn, what do you want to call it, some grass, 2x3, and that is a single pod. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get in here, we need a little observer, which is there, and we're going to shove the observer looking into that grass block, and another observer here looking into that grass block. Then we come out looking the other way, and we put a repeater onto the back of each of one of those observers. So when this observer lets out its little redstone fart, what that fart is going to do, it's going to fart power, if you like, these repeaters. And you don't want them on any ticks, you just want them on standard 1 tick, and that works beautifully. That will give that enough oomph, because it makes it a 1 tick pulse, to shove power into that cobblestone block. Doesn't have to be cobblestone, it can be any block you want, as long as it is an redstone fart conductive block, or any redstone conductive block for that matter. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put redstone dust there and there. We're going to get more of your conductive block, and we're going to shove it on the edge of the redstone like that, so as it covers up that repeater, and then we're going to put redstone dust there and there. Now what we've created here is a circuit. If either one of these observers lets out a redstone fart, it is going to power this entire circuit, and it will power this block and this block at the same time. Then we need a dispenser, and we shove the dispenser onto that block and another dispenser onto that block. Now what that's going to do, no matter which one of these observers takes its signal, it is going to power both of those dispensers at the same time. Now be very careful that these are dispensers and they are not droppers. If they are droppers, they won't work. Now we just have to pull around some walls, and I like to use glass because glass means you can see the sheep inside coming across this way like that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, a little L shape of wall. Put another layer on like that, and you've got the beginnings of your system. Now here we need to get 2 hoppers, and you want to shove, whoops, if you can actually drive, which I can't, I'll do it from on top of here, shall I? 1 hopper onto that, 1 hopper onto that, and then get yourself a chest, and you're going to create a double chest by shift clicking 1 chest onto that, 1 chest onto that. So that is your entire pod. The only thing you need to worry about is filling it, and we're going to do that in just a minute. So now what I want you to do is repeat the process. So as I say, you've got a 2x3 square of glass. This is dug out 1 deep, remember? Then into these grass blocks you're going to shove an observer there and an observer there. Now remember, this grass block hasn't got an observer next to it, so this grass block does not have an observer next to it either. If you wanted to, and you're more than welcome to, you can shove a grass block there, but not an observer block. Very, very important. Get your 2 repeaters to capture your redstone farts, shove a block there and there, get redstone dust there and there, get your cobblestone block or whatever block it is you're using there and there, redstone dust on top of that and that, come back here, dispenser, dispenser, beautiful. Then get yourself hopper, hopper, come around this way, glass, 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 and glass. Now you'll notice what's happened here is not only have we created pod 2, but we have closed off pod 1 as a result of this part of the glass here. We then just have to put a chest on there, shift click a chest into there, and you've got your double chest system on there as well. Now repeat that process around your entire farm. However many times it is, you are going to be creating a pod. We have a very fine looking 16 pod system. Very empty at the moment, I'll grant you, but it is a very fine 16 pod system. Each pod absolutely identical. You can see 3 wide to the edge of that, 3 wide to the edge of that, and everyone identical at the back as well. So it doesn't matter how many pods you've done, if you've done it identically like that and run it all the way around, or in a straight line if you prefer, you are going to find that works absolutely brilliantly. So we are going to now come to one end. Now this is where you've got a choice. If you wanted to make an automated sorting system off of the back of this, so it sorts out any colours of wool that you might do, you might want to put multicoloured sheep all the way along here so they only do loads of wool. That is a really good idea. There is a tutorial for my automated wool sorting system, or automated anything sorting system for that matter. You don't have to have overflow protection on this fella. You're not going to get so much wool, unless you've got like hundreds of pods, you're not going to get so much wool that you gam it up. It just isn't going to happen. So don't worry about overflow protection. Just the most simple one will work absolutely beautifully. So that is in the link in the description below, and hopefully I remember to do that. But if you want just a very simple collection system, this is what you want to do. Dig down 2, dig down 1. So this is at the point you make the choice. You can either put this into the automated sorting system or just into what I'm doing right now. Get a powered rail there and a powered rail there, normal rail there, powered rail there, like that. Get a block, get 2 blocks, get 3 blocks, come around the back here, shove a lever on that block and turn it on. Powered rail there, powered rail there, powered rail right there. So that's beautiful. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get some chests. So we're going to put a double chest there, another double chest there, and another double chest there. So that is 3 double chests. You could do more if you wanted to. It's entirely up to you. I'm just going to go for 3 for the time being. Then shift click a hopper into the back of that chest, a hopper into the back of that chest, and oops, a hopper into the back of that chest. And then if I can steer, a hopper into that hopper there. What that's going to give you is just 2 hoppers chance of sucking stuff out of this baby. Then bring however level you've gone. If you've gone up 3, do 3. If you've gone up 4, do 4. If you've gone up 5, do 5. And you want it 3 wide with that one, an extra one across. Very, very simple. Then get yourself powered rail there and there, normal rail just because I prefer it there and there. Shove yourself another lever onto that, and that powers that one as well. So that is your collection system, absolutely and completely sorted. So well, it's not sorted because this one doesn't sort. If you want the sorting one, go and have a look in the tutorial in the description below. It will show you how to turn this into the sorting one. Really, really simple. So all that's left now is to tool this guy up. We need to put shears into all of these chests, and the number of shears you put in is entirely up to you. As long as you get at least 1 set of shears in each of these dispensers, you are good to go. But if you fill up the chest completely with loads and loads of shears, bear in mind, shears don't take an awful lot of iron, just a couple of bits of iron per shear. It's not that expensive. So this will allow you to have this automated farm going for ages and ages. A shear, I think it's 256, I want to say 256 snips of a shear, successful snips of a shear. So 256 sheep shears, you have to be careful how you say that, 256 sheep shears per shear. So if you fill up the dispensers, that will then have 5 shears in the hopper, and then a full dub full of shears as well. You have got thousands and thousands of sheep shears going across this farm. So that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to fill up a number of shears into each of these, and we'll be back in just a sec. Okay, our system is primed and ready, but we haven't got any sheep inside here to be able to shear. So we need to get some sheep in. So I can obviously, in creative, I can do it dead easy with a sheep's egg. You are in survival, otherwise why would you need a wool farm? So this is how you get your sheep in, or what I find is the easiest way to get your sheep in. Get yourself a little sheepy and then hold some wheat. It's your friend when it holds wheat. Look, come on sheepy, you love me, you do. Up the sheep comes, and you can just jump on top of your doodah and it loves you. Look, it's saying, oh, please give me that wheat. And you say, no, sheep, you can't have the wheat. But what you can have is a little bit of a push, and it goes into the hole. You want, really, I mean, you could have just one sheep in there if you wanted to. That would work absolutely fine. But for the best results, get yourself 2 sheep into every pod, because then you can get yourself bred up. And if you get 2 sheep in here, look, I'll show you what I mean. If you get 2 sheep in there, they're going to say, oh, I like you, you're my mate, sheep. And oh, he's even more of my mate because he's got some wheat. And if you then get and breed him, you get a little baby sheepy. And then when they're ready to breed again, you can get another little baby sheep in. You can get as many sheep in there as you would like. And that makes it dead simple. So get yourself 2 sheep in every single pod. And then if you want to, oh, I missed it doing it. Oh, that's typical, isn't it? Anyway, we're going to demonstrate it properly later. Anyway, it is not a problem. Get yourself 2 sheep in every pod. And then if you want to, you can dye the sheep's wool. And if you dye the sheep's wool now, that means you don't have to dye the sheep's wool later on. Every time it regrows back to the colour it was before it got sheared. So that's brilliant. So I'm going to fill these up with sheep, and I'm going to get them a little bit dyed. Crack on, back in a second. So we have got our system primed and ready. I'm just going to cover up that end hole because we don't need that anymore. We didn't decide to use that end, so as we can cover it up. This guy has been booming on. You can see that the wool is starting to get all clogged up in there as they are getting going. I'm going to come around here and I'm going to get my hopper minecart, and I'm going to shove a hopper minecart on there, and I'm going to give it a little push, and that is going to run around the system, and that is going to collect up all the wool. It will take a couple of runs for some of these because it's been collecting up for a while, but once it's got going, it won't be so bad. So once that's been going for a little while, I'll go and check the chests, because it is actually a really nice simple system that will be collecting wool up whilst you have got this chunk loaded. So if you do this in the spawn chunks, this will be going forever and ever, and actually gives you quite a lot of wool. Back in a bit. So we have got it all set up, and you'll notice I have decided to make this, rather than going backwards and forwards, I've decided to turn it into a circuit, and that is because I wonder whether or not a second minecart might be worthwhile. So let's wait for that first minecart to come past. We're going to shove a second minecart on there, and we're going to shove that off and going. So a second minecart with hopper is now going around and around that circuit. Now theoretically they shouldn't catch up. Now a loaded minecart will move at a different rate to a static minecart, but they should actually fill up and empty themselves at around about the same sort of time, so it shouldn't be a problem. So I have just that slightest little concern that some of the wool, especially if you've got lots and lots and lots, are not going to work. So now what I'm going to do, you can see that sheep are getting automatically sheared as soon as they, you see that on that grey one, as soon as they get, basically as soon as they grow, as soon as they eat the grass, that is getting chopped off straight away. That's as a result of the observer noticing that the grass has changed its state. It's gone from dirt to grass, and because it's gone from dirt to grass, that is a change of state of that block. The observer sees it, lets out a little redstone fart, and that little redstone fart tells everything around the back to fire. So you can see, we'll wait for one of these guys at the back to fire. You see that one fired there, that one fired there, or it fired again, and it just chops as soon as it gets ready. It's a dead simple system. So in the time it's taken me to make this, which is about an hour, this is what we have collected. Let's just go inside. So inside I've just messed around a little bit. I've put carpet down, and underneath here we've unsurprisingly got some glowstone just to keep it lit up to stop any mobs from spawning. We've got some drinking bits, we've got some hay, we've got podzol because it looks like animal poo, and we have got our system is. So maybe an hour. So an hour we have managed to collect half of a double chest full of, well, nearly full, we're getting there, of different coloured walls. As I said, if you wanted to get an item sorter in here, you absolutely could do that. An item sorter would work beautifully. But this is our barn. It is our automatic sheep shearing barn. It allows breeding. It would allow sorting if you put a sorting system on it using the sorting system. It allows all sorts of stuff. And I think it looks awesome. So there you go, one automatic sheep shearing wool farm. The last wool farm I did, loads of people complained that it didn't automatically shear the sheep. Well, that's because until 1.14, you can't automatically shear the sheep. Now you can. You are welcome. If you've enjoyed this video, please do remember to slap that like button. It'd be great to know you're enjoying it, and I will carry on making them. Also, if you've not done it already, please do hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell so you can be a member of the sub club and notification squad. And I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.